Painter. Today, we're powering up our knowledge on smart grids. We're going to walk through a fantastic academic review that really breaks down the latest in this technology. So if you're an engineering student or already a pro in the power systems world, this one's for you.
All right, here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll get into why we even need a smarter grid in the first place. Then, we'll pop the hood and look at the key parts. After that, we'll explore the absolute flood of data that makes it all tick, face the serious security risks, and finally, see what kind of sustainable future this all leads to.
So, let's start at the very beginning. Why the big upgrade? Why are we moving on from the power grid that's basically been with us for a century? Well, it's all about making a huge leap from a simple one-way street to a super dynamic, intelligent network.
And this slide really says it all. You can see the differences night and day. The old grid, it's like a relic. It's manually controlled, it's mechanical, and power only flows one way, from the big power plant out to you. But the smart grid, that's the digital future. It's automated, it's self-correcting, and this is the crucial part, it has a two-way flow of both power and information.
The official definition from NIST, that's the U.S. National Institute of Standards and Technology, really nails it. The magic words here are two-way communication and control. That one change opens up a whole new world of possibilities. It means we go from being just passive customers at the end of the line to being active participants in the whole energy ecosystem.
Okay, so we've got the why. Now let's get into the how. What are the actual building blocks that make a smart grid, well, smart? We're going to start with the tech that's completely changing how power is made and managed.
A huge part of this is something called distributed generation, or DG. Instead of just relying on a few massive power plants, we're now mixing in lots of smaller power sources. Think solar panels on rooftops, local wind turbines, right where the power is being used. For you engineers, this is a game changer. It means less energy lost over long power lines and better voltage stability. It just makes the whole system run so much more efficiently.
Now, this brings us to the other side of the equation, another key component called demand response, and you'll see it really comes in two main flavors. So if DG changes how we supply power, demand response changes how we use it. For power systems pros, this is all about balancing the grid from the consumer end. You can use price-based programs, making electricity cheaper at night to get people to run their dishwashers then, or you can go with incentive-based programs where the utility literally pays you to use less power during a heat wave.
But here's the catch with renewables. They're not always on. And that's exactly where energy storage systems step in. And believe me, they have a ton of different jobs to do.
Right, so what happens when the sun goes down or the wind dies? That's when energy storage systems, or ESS, become absolutely essential. You can think of them as the grid's giant multi-purpose battery. They can handle peak shaving, which is just releasing stored energy when demand is super high. They provide frequency regulation to keep the entire grid stable, and in a real emergency, they can even perform a black start, basically jump-starting the whole power grid after a massive blackout. Pretty incredible stuff.
So we've got power coming from everywhere, users changing their habits, and storage ready to jump in. The glue that holds all of this together? Data. A massive, non-stop flood of data that is truly a digital revolution for the grid.
I mean, the scale is just mind-boggling. Take a look at this number. That's how many messages the control center gets from smart meters in just one city, Sydney, every single day. We're talking hundreds of millions of data points. This is what people mean when they talk about big energy data.
Now, what's so cool, and what this slide shows so well, is that this data isn't just collected and stored. It's part of a constant feedback loop. It's a cycle of information that's always running to fine-tune and optimize the grid in real time.
Let's quickly walk through that cycle. First, you have data collection from millions of sensors. Then, all that raw, messy data gets cleaned up and organized in pre-processing. After that, it gets stored and run through analytics to spot trends. The results are turned into easy-to-read charts through visualization. And finally, all that work leads to automated, split-second decision-making that keeps the grid running smoothly.
Of course, anytime you build a system that's so interconnected and so reliant on data, you're also creating a brand new set of vulnerabilities. And this brings us to what might be the single most important challenge for the smart grid, cybersecurity.
And let's be clear, this is not a hypothetical problem. This quote is describing a very real event, the 2017 cyber attack on Ukraine's power grid.
It was a massive wake-up call for the whole world, proving that attackers can, and will, exploit these systems to cause real-world blackouts.
So, for anyone working in this field, you've got to know the playbook. There are 3 main attack models to watch for. Deception attacks are when they feed false data into the system. Denial of service attacks are when they just flood the network to shut it down. And replay attacks are when they capture real data and send it again later to cause chaos.
And the number one target for all these attacks, it's the SCADA system. That stands for Supervisory Control and Data Acquisition. But you can just think of it as the brain of the entire electrical grid. A successful hit on the SCADA system is the worst-case scenario, which is why protecting it is absolutely priority number one.
Okay, we've taken apart the smart grid, we've looked at the data, and we've faced the very real security threats. So you have to ask, with all that, what's the big payoff? Why are we going through all this trouble?
The payoff is, in a word, huge. We're looking at a grid that's way more reliable and way more efficient. It can even predict failures before they happen and automatically reroute power to self-heal. But the real grand prize is its ability to seamlessly integrate massive amounts of renewable energy. That means lower greenhouse gas emissions and a real path to a sustainable future.
And that leaves us with one final, very important question to think about. As we build this incredible automated grid, we have to ask ourselves, are our security measures keeping up? It's a constant race between innovation and security. And when you're talking about our most critical infrastructure, it's a race we simply have to win.
For advanced petroleum and energy engineering education, stay connected with us on web, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube under the handle Teachdemy.